They laughed as they locked the cuffs. Two officers, standing proud under the courthouse steps, mocked the man they thought was beneath them. But in less than 10 minutes, the same man they arrested in front of everyone would walk past them again, this time wearing the judge's robe. The morning sun gleamed over the marble pillars of the city courthouse. A crowd had gathered for a high-profile case, yet all attention turned toward the commotion on the steps. Two officers were holding a man in handcuffs, tall, calm, dressed in a tailored gray suit that somehow made the cuffs look even more out of place. One officer chuckled loudly, gripping the man's arm. "You've got 5 minutes before the zoo opens," he sneered, earning a ripple of uncomfortable laughter from a few onlookers. The man didn't respond. He didn't even flinch. His eyes, steady and unblinking, looked beyond them, not with anger, but with a kind of patience that made their mockery feel small. He was calm because he'd learned long ago that silence often speaks louder than any defense. His name was Marcus Reed. To the officers, he was just another man in the wrong place at the wrong time, someone whose quiet confidence made them uneasy. But to those who truly knew him, Marcus was a man who had built his life on discipline, sacrifice, and unwavering integrity. Years before that morning, Marcus had worn a different kind of uniform, not a suit, not a robe, but military fatigues. He had served overseas as a legal advisor in war zones, navigating chaos, ensuring fairness where there was none. He'd once defended soldiers who had no one else to speak for them. In the sand and smoke of distant deserts, he had seen what real injustice looked like. That's why, standing there now, surrounded by mockery, he didn't react. The humiliation didn't pierce him. It only reminded him of something deeper, that dignity is never granted by those who try to take it from you. When the officers pushed him toward the courthouse steps, he stumbled slightly, but straightened immediately. People watched. Some filmed, others turned away, uneasy but silent. That silence, the kind that fills the air when good people see wrong and do nothing, was the hardest sound Marcus had ever heard. Still, he walked, head high, shoulders steady, every movement deliberate, controlled. Inside, the marble floors echoed beneath his shoes. The cold metal of the cuffs pressed against his wrists, but he didn't ask them to be removed. He just waited, patient, measured, as if he already knew how this story would end. Behind those courtroom doors, things began to shift. A clerk recognized him. Whispers rippled through the hall. One of the officers frowned, suddenly uncertain. The other tried to laugh it off. Moments later, the judge's assistant approached. Her tone was urgent, her face pale. "Take those off him," she ordered quietly. The officers hesitated, confused. Now, when the cuffs clicked open, Marcus didn't rush. He adjusted his sleeves, smoothed his jacket, and turned toward the chambers. Minutes later, when the courtroom doors opened again, every whisper stopped. The two officers, the same ones who had laughed, mocked, and manhandled him, stood frozen as Marcus Reed entered, not as a defendant, but as the presiding judge. The room fell into stunned silence. The courtroom guard straightened instantly. Lawyers rose to their feet. Marcus walked slowly to the bench, his robes flowing like a calm storm. He paused at the judge's seat, looking briefly toward the officers who still stood near the back. Their faces drained of color, their arrogance vanished. He didn't scold them. He didn't speak their names. He simply took his place at the bench, opened the file before him, and said, with quiet gravity, "In this courtroom, everyone stands equal, no exceptions." The words hit harder than any punishment could. The rest of the day passed in reverent silence. Every lawyer spoke with measured respect. Every witness sat straighter. Even the officers remained still, their earlier laughter echoing in their own minds like a shame they couldn't escape. When court adjourned, Marcus rose from his seat, his voice steady. "Power doesn't make us better than others," he said softly. "It only tests how we treat those who can't fight back." No one moved. The officers lowered their heads. As Marcus walked out of the courthouse, the crowd that had once watched his humiliation now parted for him in quiet respect. Some clapped softly. Others just stood in awe, unsure what to say. Outside, the sunlight broke through the clouds, casting a warm glow on the courthouse steps, the same place where mockery had turned to honor. Marcus paused for a moment at the top of the stairs, looking out over the city. He wasn't smiling, but there was peace in his eyes, the peace that comes from knowing you didn't have to shout for justice. You simply lived it. That night, a clip of the incident began spreading online. The moment the handcuffed man became the judge, it became more than a story. It became a mirror, reflecting a truth everyone needed to see, that respect isn't given to uniforms, titles, or badges. It's earned by character. Dignity isn't granted, it's carried. Power tests the heart more than the badge ever could. In this courtroom, everyone stands equal, no exceptions. Some stories remind us that silence isn't weakness, it's strength waiting for the right moment. Marcus Reed didn't fight back with anger. He fought back with truth, honor, and grace. If you believe respect should never depend on appearance or status, share this story. Tell us where you're watching from, and subscribe. Like and share for more stories that honor silent heroes who stand tall, even when the world tries to bring them down. Stay blessed and happy always. I mean, God bless you all. Goodbye.